He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
North Korea is run by a 5'1" power-tripping demon who the U.S. government and the Swiss government, via Donald Rumsfeld, gave nuclear weapons material to, on record. They have a joint factory on their border as part of an aid system to the North, where they have to give them the fuel oil and the grain and everything else, and the North sits there always threatening them if they don't give them more, being... That's what our government is. It's a big, corrupt, murdering parasite that says, give me all your tax money. I got troops in black uniforms. We'll come SWAT team you. The IRS admits they use fear to control you. It all goes to offshore banks. Same thing with North Korea. They just sit there with nuclear weapons saying, we'll start World War III with you if you don't give us all this free money. And our government goes, you're just like us. Here's some nuclear weapons. We love you. We need to have a threat out there. And right on time, as the global financial collapse unfolds, North Korea raises its head. It rears its ugly head and torpedoes a ship and is running around threatening everyone. North Korea expels South Korean officials from joint factory park. It's owned by the North and the South, and they're just kicking them out. And they're now cruising their ships around on the edge of South Korean water, saying they're going to go ahead and attack them. And they're trying to play chicken to get even more money and power. And, you know, this guy is reportedly dying of cancer. And these lunatics, you know, like Hitler in his bunker, said, go ahead and take Berlin down with me. You know, flood the tube stations, the underground train systems. And they said, well, that'll kill our own people. And he said, so what? They deserve it. So, you know, who knows what this lunatic's going to do? Who knows? I mean, this is always government and some lunatic with a military that works for them, which is the direction we're going, where the government is God, where the state is God. North Korea expels South Korean official from joint factory park, further fueling tensions between the Koreas. North Korea kicks South Korea government officials out of their joint factory park in the north on Wednesday and threatened to shut it down if Seoul resumes its anti-North Korean broadcast along the border. The North, accused of sinking the South Korean warship in the Yellow Sea in March, also renewed its threat to shoot South Korean loudspeakers if South sets them up on its side. And it just goes on and on. Here it is. North Korea threatens to close border with South as relations worsen. As Hillary Clinton arrives in Seoul to discuss the crisis, the North expels 8 South Korean officials. And it just goes on and on. They're like displaying parts of the torpedo and the rest of it now. And Israel's saying they want to go into Iran. Iran went to Turkey and to France and signed deals for them to enrich all the uranium for their peaceful nuclear reactors. And Hillary put out a press release last night, saying, this isn't good enough, we're still going to attack you, basically. I've got that here on the stack. I'm sure you've seen it on the news. And what's so incredible is that you notice in the sanctions they're trying to pass in the Congress, it says no refined gasoline can be shipped into Iran. Iran has lots of oil, but they only have about half the refining capacity that they need for their country. So our government's saying we don't want you to have gasoline, and you can't have peaceful nuclear reactors to power your country and your growing population of 67 million people. You cannot make a nuclear weapon with the material they want France and Turkey to produce. But North Korea could make A-bombs with what ABB and Donald Rumsfeld gave them, and they knowingly gave it to them in '96, and with a second group of reactor systems in 2000. And we've got articles up on prisonplanet.com. What's the headline? Watson put a good article out yesterday. Nuclear war in Korea brought to you by the U.S. Should be brought to you by the globalists, but whatever. Yeah, the U.S. did do it. And you heard Ron Paul mention last hour, you heard the congressman mention last hour here on the air, that Oh, the CIA is carrying out civilian bombings in Iran. In 2006, Bush put out a press release from the White House reporting what Cy Hirsch had already reported 3 years before, that U.S. Special Forces and 4 groups of Muslim terror groups, 3 of them out of Wahhabist Saudi Arabia, Sunni, I'm not bashing Sunnis here, I'm just talking about the groups they're using, attacking Shiite Iran. And then now it's back in the news the last 2 days that generals, U.S. generals are on the news saying, yes, we're launching attacks in Iran. Our criminal government is blowing up civilian targets inside Iran. And I know there's good old boys driving around their pickup trucks right now going, good, I don't like them Arabs. Number one, they're not Arabs. Number two, that's an act of war. I mean, the Iranians have laid down when our government blows up their jetliners to get them hopping mad and stages overthrows of their government over and over again. I mean, it's so sick, ladies and gentlemen. The Iranians love America. They always wanted to be pro-America. Mohammed Mossadegh was pro-U.S. till our government overthrew him using a bunch of radical Muslims. You just don't know history. Don't you dare sit there and say, kill them brown people before you know all about it. Don't sit there and play into this, you fool. I'm going to tell those good old boys something again. You're not really good old boys. You don't know your head from a hole in the ground. And I'm going to tell you this, too. If it's declassified that our government let the Russians have 22,000 U.S. troops that had been in German POW camps when the Russians took them over, if they will sell you out, if they'll sell out the Iraqis, if they'll sell out the Iranians, if they'll sell out our own troops, they'll sell you out, Jack. So when they're taking your farm or your ranch or with taxes that you don't owe, taking your business, just remember, buddy, you were into murder and death. You thought it was cool. You thought it was an extension of your manhood to watch shock and awe as Baghdad buildings blow up. Even if that was a just war, which it wasn't. You don't get off on buildings being blown up. You don't get off on dead women and children. It isn't tough, okay? And the truth is, you're all hat and no cattle. You know, it's this fake John Wayne type persona, and it isn't real, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? You know, it's one thing to have, even though it was staged, the Empire of Japan was corrupt and was a part of it. They got suckered into attacking. The U.S. had forces in China attacking them. They knew they were going to attack Pearl Harbor. They let them do it. And then our troops went up, you know, Iwo Jima and all that, and that was heroic. But this isn't your grandpa or your great-grandpa's war, folks. We are now the corrupt empire. But again, even if you signed on to a corrupt empire, you're not getting any of the booty. Like, say, a British, middle-class person in 1800 got to be part of the empire and actually got something out of it. You're not getting jack squat out of this empire, except you're paying for it, and then everybody is hating you. Because the globalists are using the U.S. to set up their world government, and then at the same time blaming us for all the atrocities so they can get rid of us at the end. You understand? That's how this is being done. All masterfully being maneuvered and set up and integrated.